Pamela Nance will talk about the close call she had as a young adult. In my early 30s, I've been through a number of emotionally transforming events, but this near-death experience changed me more than any other. In April 1990, I worked 2 shifts at a nearby gourmet restaurant, crammed for my final exams as a senior, and finished my undergraduate classes. When I was under a lot of stress, my stomach ulcers got worse and were really painful. I wasn't going to see my doctor because I was in so much pain and had run out of medicine. I didn't think I could finish my dinner shift on Friday, April 20, because I was in so much pain. There was a small pop in my stomach, and the pain went away. I was glad when my dinner shift was over and I could go home without having to suffer. The next morning, I felt sick and thought it was a stomachache. Even though I was sick most of the day, I made it through the day. As I was getting ready to leave, my husband told me of our dinner reservation. I went to the bathroom and threw up when I got home because I felt sick. Since I had eaten cherry sauce and drunk red wine, I wasn't sure if the vomit was blood. My husband was called to look into it, and we thought it might have been the cherry sauce and wine. I went to sleep and woke up when my husband or wife got ready to go to a junk market the following Sunday. I was going to go with him, but I was sick and thirsty for the first time. I snuck out of bed and yelled downstairs for him to bring me a big Coke while he got ready for the flea market. I think the last time I turned around was to go to the bathroom after talking. Turn off the lights. I later learned that my husband heard me fall down. I was passed out, looking at the floor and not breathing when he came upstairs. He picked me up, put me on the bed, and began CPR while I was away. After a bright white light went out, I woke up on a snow-covered mountain range. When I looked down, I saw snow on my feet. After these mountains, there was a beautiful valley. The sky was filled with the opposite mountain range, and the green was as deep as an emerald. There was snow on it. I looked back at the valley and saw that there was a huge tree in the middle of it. The tree began to talk to me right away. The tree of life made me think it had something to do with my life. I had never been through anything like this before. This place felt like home to me. I was pulled right away to that tree because it was the first time I felt spiritual life. But I wasn't by myself. Wildlife was all around me. Elephants, tigers, lions, ducks, bunnies, and mice were just a few of the animals that were there. There was no one in the area. There were many kinds of animals. The birds singing made me feel like I was in love with them. These dogs came out of Holly, my Rottweiler who died Thursday night. She got sick when she was 14 years old. She stayed with us, and I was home when she left at 2 a.m. She was a baby, maybe a year or 2 old, when I got her for the first time. She was young and smart, and her little tail moved around. I cried and hugged Holly, and I didn't think I'd see her again. She was there. As I held her face in my hands and kissed her, I cried. Everything was singing and living with love, which was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Its beauty and brightness can't be matched by anything on earth or in human life. As I felt this love, I heard my name called from far away. My husband was calling, and I didn't want to hear his scared voice. I was taken back out of the valley and into my body as soon as I gave up. "Don't move," he told me when I woke up. "A police car is on its way." I felt 2 things at the same time. As a spirit and in my body, I looked at my partner and my body. As I walked up the stairs, I saw the paramedics come, get on the bed, put the blood pressure cuff on, and connect the ECG leads. Everything I saw and felt was real to me. I was awake during the whole process of getting me out of the house, into the car, and to the hospital. Watching from 2 different points of view, the physical and the soul. I got to the hospital after being coded twice in the ER and saw treatments that saved lives. I saw family come and go. They helped me put my feet up and did other things that had to be done. On the second code, I changed into a spiritual being and was taken backwards into a beautiful scenery. This garden is so beautiful that words can't explain it. Even though things were hard for me, this grass was the greenest, thickest, and lushest you could picture. I could feel carpet under my feet. There were lovely flowers and trees all around the yard. The sky was clear blue with white clouds and birds flying high. There was a beautiful reflecting pool on one side of the yard. This pool of water called to me, so I lay down in it. When I jumped in, the pool was full of people. For some reason, it seemed to heal and refresh my spirit. I could have spent all day in that pool because it was so peaceful and quiet. When I got out of the pool, I saw a garden bench that had been cut by hand set up between some trees and flowers. A hazy mist formed to my right as I sat down on the bench. As it got closer, a Buddhist monk in his mid-40s showed up. An orange-pink silk was thrown over his shoulder and across the front of his orange robe. He walked around barefoot, had a big, slightly fat face, and cut his hair very short. He sat down next to me on the bench and told me I was hot. It's hot, and this garden leads me. He made it clear that this is the yard he reached during his life change. Before I go up in spirit, this is my spiritual refuge. He told me that when I get to the yard, I go to a healing place and learn how to heal animals and plants. After that, I study ways to heal people, plants, and animals. For this part, Hot is my guide. I have different guides for each garden stage and educational level. When Hot and I got to the edge of the garden after the walk, we saw a beautiful and peaceful scene. It was full of different kinds of animals. While the adults slept, the babies ran and played. I felt like taking a walk through the middle of this beautiful field. It made me feel at home with all the love from these animals. Hot told me that this is where I learn, but I left quickly. After an iridescent, shimmering screen closed, I went back to the yard with Hot. I had a lot of questions for him, but he told me to leave and come back. When he said that, I felt like I was sucked back, pulled backwards, and inside my body. I woke up in the ITU. My sister and mother were crying, and my husband was so happy that I was awake. I spent 72 hours in the ITU. That beautiful place was where I spent more than 3 days with my spirit guide, Hot. A lot of blood was also lost. My ulcer opened up after that snap caused an arterial burst in my stomach. I bled for 36 hours. Doctors couldn't figure out why I was bleeding, and because my blood type is rare, it was hard to start the transfer. It took longer to stabilize me because of this. I made it through and left the hospital 5 days later. When my husband got home and we got out of the car, I saw the world for the first time. I could feel the plants in my front yard giving me life. Our beautiful 300-year-old oak tree begged me to give it a hug. The plant's vibe and energy reminded me of the tree of life in the valley, which is something I had never noticed before. "Can't you see life?" asked her husband. "Are you not seeing the power in these plants?" His main goal was to get me into bed. I knew I had changed physically and mentally after a few weeks of healing and getting stronger again. Every time I turned a switch, light bulbs went out. Every time I turned on a lamp, the bulb went out. I got electric shocks every time I touched a can or a metal shelf while I was food shopping. There are times when you can see a spark and hear a pop. Because it hurts so much, my husband helped me take the things off the shelf. That experience changed me at the atomic and energy levels. It happened in my life, and it happens in other people's too. I worked at a medical school with a program of complementary and alternative medicine after I graduated. From that area, Healing Touch was given. At work, I met the requirements for Healing Touch practitioner training. The energy gift I learned about during my near-death experience seemed like it would work well for this. I became a level 4 Healing Touch practitioner through school. I found that I could work well with family, friends, and hospital patients. I took care of my yard and dogs too. When a person came close to dying, they got a gift from Spirit. This meeting when I was 30 years old showed me a gift I had known about since I was a child, but it also gave it new life and changed it. I learned about magic and past lives because of this. I got a master's degree in anthropology and history to learn more about this deeply spiritual and life-changing event. I want to show that we're not just our bodies. Love and energy make us one with the Creator. Many of us have felt love on the other side. When you get back, you understand that love is the most important thing. Realizing that we are all linked can make the world a better place. God's love ties us all together, no matter who they are or what they think. It's our duty to love others because love has given us so much.